And like we said before, week 1 will be less than 2 weeks away by the time you're hearing this and reading this, and we have a lot to cover. And I have all the info you need to build your bankroll this NFL season. After months of research and weeks of preparation for this week 1 slate, this is what I found most important for you to know. So let's get after it. Now we're here to understand projections. Understanding projections is pretty simple. We have our base projection, ceiling, previous 4-game average, and our floor projections. We typically look for QBs that have a high ceilings for GPP plays, which is considered a boom or bust QB. While a high floor QB is a safe play meant for cash games, for example, Patrick Mahomes is a perfect example of a cash game play due to the high floor. He is considered safe, while Lamar Jackson would be more of a GPP play with the high ceiling and low floor. Here's the rest of our current QB projections. These are very likely to change before week 1 kicks off, so please subscribe to my social media outlets for updates until the slate locks. We got our TikTok account, Patreon account, Instagram account, and of course where you're finding us here on YouTube. So hit that like and that subscribe if you want to know when these stats update. But if you would like to go more in depth on these projections, and if you would like to get the updated projections leading into week 1 before week 1 slate locks, go ahead and hit subscribe on this channel. Go ahead and visit my Patreon where I post all this content and much more for subscribers at a low fee. So yeah, hit me up on there. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think these projections are good? Drop in the comment section what you think. Quarterback 25.70, which really makes me want to play him in cash games. I know a second ago we were making an example of high floors, low ceilings, but right now, the way it's looking, I mean, look, Lamar Jackson doesn't have the stacking options that Patrick Mahomes has. He doesn't throw the ball as much as Patrick Mahomes does. That's why I think Lamar Jackson is the best cash game play. Maybe not for a point per dollar, but for projection, just projection standing alone, Lamar Jackson looks like the best cash game play. Justin Herbert is just too expensive for me to take a risk on in cash games. I wouldn't mind playing him some in GPPs. Kyler Murray, looking pretty good at that $7,200 range. He's the second highest projected quarterback, which excites me quite a bit. Has a pretty good ceiling. Didn't have the last good 4 games in the regular season ending. And his floor is pretty high, so we like that. Aaron Rodgers, a little too expensive for the projection. Definitely a tournament play. Jalen Hurts, probably the second best cash game play. Maybe the first best cash game play just due to the price point here. Definitely have some interest there. But to point out probably my favorite play on the slate, and I don't know if it's just recency bias for the projections that I've came up with, but Joe Burrow sitting at the top here, 23.5 projection, has a 28.4 ceiling, 13.8 floor. His last 4 games he averaged 17.6 DraftKings points. I really like this projection for that price point, and he's probably my favorite play in general. Whether it be cash, whether it be GPPs, I would not mind playing Joe Burrow whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins is pretty expensive, but I mean, he really stays in this price range all year long. So, and he has some upside because he has one of the best receivers in all football. So definitely a GPP play. Trey Lance, only a cash game play for me, and very fringe cash game play because we saw how much he did not throw the ball. You're really going to be relying on him to get you at least 40 to 50 rushing yards to help make your day. Derek Carr, have some interest just due to the price point alone. He has a pretty good projection, has a pretty good ceiling. But the last 4 games were a little concerning with 13.6, and his floor is pretty concerning with a 10.9. But I'm hoping with Devontae Adams being a new addition, that his floor is going to go up in due time. Tannehill, not very interested in him at 5,700. Tua, not very interested there. Let's see, no Justin Fields. Got a tad bit interested in Trevor Lawrence there with that projection at that price point. Carson Wentz, also pretty interesting. I said I liked Matt Ryan earlier in the video, but that projection is a little concerning. But you got to believe he's got a better passing options, a better running game. So I believe those should be going up. But that's someone to catch on before everyone else does. No interest in Mac Jones. Very little interest in Jared Goff or Jameis Winston. Have some slight interest in Baker Mayfield. We'll talk about him a little later on. Marcus Mariota, no. Yeah, the rest of these guys are no's for me. Kind of like Daniel Jones, though, at his price point and his projection, just due to the fact that he's got a good game environment. And Mitch Trubisky could be that sneaky play no one's talking about. Someone to consider. I doubt I'll be playing him much in week 1, but I wouldn't hate you if you did.